Are you looking to take on 50 kilometers but unsure how to tackle it? Well, you're in the right place, because in this very video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about how to tackle 50 kilometers on your bike. Depending on the distance of rides that you have been doing before you attempt your 50 kilometers, you might not have been hungry out on your bike, so you might not have needed to take food. But trust me, when you attempt 50 kilometers, you're going to want to take something with you. You might not be hungry in that first hour, but trust me, when you're out on your bike and hunger strikes, it is not good. Hunger can strike very quickly, so I'd always recommend taking something with you. Now, you could get some cycling specific food to take with you. I really like these Precision Fuel Chews. So these have 30 grams of carbs to keep you nice and fueled for your ride. You could even get a caffeine gel, keep your caffeine, get that extra boost, but you don't have to overcomplicate it. You could just take a banana, you could take a flapjack, you could take a brioche, you could take a jam sandwich, but just make sure you take something with you, because when you get hungry out on your bike, your energy levels plummet. Cycling is not enjoyable when you get in that state. So just make sure you have something with you to snack on if you do get hungry. And it's really important that you eat before you get hungry. Learn from my lesson, because I've done that plenty of times where I've been out on my bike and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna eat, I'm not hungry, I'm fine. 4 minutes later, hunger in a bad place. So make sure you keep on top of it. Now, if you aren't aiming to do your 50 kilometers in a certain time, make sure to stop at a cafe, get a coffee, and maybe even a cake as well, because this is one of the great things about cycling, which you can't do in sports like swimming. Just make sure the coffee stop is in the last part of your ride, because it just gives you that little extra motivation to finish off on a high as well. And don't be afraid to fill up on your water bottles when you are at a cafe or a pub, because staying hydrated is key. Do you know what to do if you get a flat tire? Do you know how to take your wheel out? Do you know what to do if your chain comes off? Now, these are all things I suggest you learn how to do before you head out on your 50 kilometers. Now, this can be prepped beforehand, and especially important if you're going out solo and you're going to be out there on your own without any help. Now, you are also going to want to take a few mechanical tools with you as well. So this might be, depending on what tires you're running, you're going to want an inner tube, a pump, tire levers, maybe a multi-tool as well. And you can put all of that in a saddle bag like this, just pops underneath your saddle there. But if you are relatively new to cycling and you don't want to invest in one of these, that is absolutely fine. A little trick I like to do is get an old water bottle, and you can basically store all your little gadgets in there, shove it all in, and then put it in your bottle cage if you had to. But do make sure you take a bottle of water with you as well, because it is thirsty work, this cycling. If it's not on Strava, it didn't happen. I can't recommend recording your rides on Strava enough for a few reasons. One, so all your friends can see it and you can brag about it. And two, so you can look back at your rides from the early days and see how far you've come. But if you're really getting into it, you can even get competitive on those KOMs and QOMs. So you can just download the Strava app and you can record your rides directly from your phone. Strava is also really good for planning your routes as well, which I highly recommend you do. And especially if you're going out on some longer rides, you want to know exactly how far you have planned, and you want to make sure that you're riding on good roads as well. You don't want to end up on, I don't know, the M5 or something, which can be easily done. Not that I've done it before, but you just want to make sure you're on nice, quiet roads that you feel comfortable on as well. And you can also use the elevation map to avoid all those steep climbs if you don't like climbing. Strava also have a safety beacon feature on the app, which is great, which means you can share your live location with your loved ones so they know exactly where you are and they can get dinner on the table ready for when you get back. Or they can pick you up from a sticky situation if you get yourself in an unfixable mechanical. Now, this next one is an important one. Don't go out the door all guns blazing and go out too fast, because you will probably regret it. If it is your first time riding this far, you don't know how your body's going to react. You don't know how far you can ride without getting tired. So take my advice from someone who's been there and done all the mistakes. Go out easy. That first kilometres, just go out, relax, ride into it, enjoy the views. Just enjoy yourself and don't take it too seriously. And make sure, don't give yourself any targets, do it in a certain time. Leave that for the next one. Just make sure you can get through that first 30 kilometres in a good place, and then in that 20 kilometres at the back end, if you're feeling good, you can push yourself. But then when it comes to the next time you do 50 kilometres, you've got a benchmark, and then the next one, you can try and beat it. Now, riding solo is great, but when you are tackling a big challenge like your first 50 kilometres, it might be a good idea to take someone a little bit more experienced with you, someone who can guide you through it and can be there. Plus, riding with a friend is so much fun because you can just natter and chat rubbish the whole time. Before you know it, you've done a whole 50 kilometres. So if you can, get a cycling buddy out with you. Or even if you might have a friend that's fairly new to cycling as well, drop them a message and ask them if they fancy doing this challenge with you, because it is better together. So there you have it. Those are some of my top tips on how to tackle your first 50 kilometres on your bike. But I want to know if you actually go out and do it. So go out, ride 50 kilometres and report back to the comment section and let me know how it went, because I'm very intrigued to know. And if you learn any of your own tips along the way, drop them down in that comment section as well. And whilst you're there, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to GCN.